Hi everyone! We're here to show what's new and improved in ArcGIS Pro 2.7. This compilation was created by the ArcGIS Pro development teams to highlight all the new tools, functionality, and enhancements. Let's start by taking a look at the highlights.
Start Page Resources. The ArcGIS Pro Start page now features a Resources section to help you learn ArcGIS Pro and keep up with new developments. You can see what's new in the latest version, build essential skills with quick start tutorials, and find more learning opportunities through Learn ArcGIS lessons and at Esri Academy. You can also stay connected with other ArcGIS Pro users on GeoNet, the Esri community, and stay up to date by reading blogs from ArcGIS Pro product engineers and content creators. Users coming from ArcMap now have resources at their fingertips to help transition their work into ArcGIS Pro, and any user can follow a themed discovery path to explore ArcGIS Pro capabilities and develop new skills. Layer and feature blending. ArcGIS Pro now supports blending modes. These can be used as an alternative to transparency when you want to combine layers or features. Experiment with different modes to find a variety of useful combinations. You can use the eyedropper to grab color information from any element in your map. Changing the width and color of multiple symbol classes at once is now possible, and you can scroll through the different symbol classes in the preview.
Mobile geodatabases. We are introducing a new type of geodatabase called the mobile geodatabase. You can create and interact with mobile geodatabases from geoprocessing tools, the catalog pane, or the insert ribbon. Mobile geodatabases can be used for the same data design tasks and can also be used as input for geoprocessing tools and scripts. Mobile geodatabases have a .geodatabase file extension and are stored in a SQLite database. SQLite databases are widely available and ubiquitous in mobile app development. Since it is a relational database management system, you will be able to employ querying and reporting workflows from other applications. Mobile geodatabases are stored as a single file on disk and work cross-platform, making them super portable and often used as a data exchange format. In 2.7, we have worked to expose the mobile geodatabase in the UI and make it successful with simple data and data modeling concepts. Movement analysis tools. Movement tools use point track data to analyze several mobile devices or other objects in space and time. Find Co-Travelers looks for separate devices that may be traveling together by comparing near tracks within a time interval. Find Meeting Locations looks at point track dwell times to find areas where separate tracks are stopping together. Compare Areas finds unique device counts that are within areas of interest in similar distance and time windows. In Classify Movement Events, categorizes point track locations as turning, stopping, and accelerating to determine how the device or object was moving.
3D Object Feature Layer. The 3D Object Layer is a new, advanced 3D geometry feature class that is an evolution of the original multi-patch. These improvements include adding material layers to 3D objects, which allows for live editing of 3D objects inside and outside of ArcGIS Pro, and the ability to export geolocated features so they can be edited by third-party applications. These enhancements will allow you to increase the details and realism of your ArcGIS Pro scenes.
Linear referencing. Route editing tools are now available for making and calibrating routes. You can use the Make Routes tool to create a new route feature using geometries from one or many input line features, and a calibration method as specified in the tool. For existing routes, measures can be recalibrated using Calibrate Route or Define Line Portion tools. Calibrate routes can interpolate between points or extrapolate to endpoints.
GNSS device location support. ArcGIS Pro 2.7 allows you to collect high-accuracy data using any GNSS device in the field. Click the Add Device Location button on the construction toolbar to create point features or vertices for line and polygon features. First, connect to a GNSS device in the device location settings page. Second, activate device location for your map. Then, use one of the feature templates to create the new features. You can make changes to panning and visibility settings on the device location tab. From the device location pane, advanced users can record detailed information about the device's position to a log.
Application. Sharing. You can now save an offline or connected service definition, which contains the service properties, capabilities, and all the information needed to publish a web layer or map service later, including the data. Take the SD file from the saved location and publish it using the Upload Service Definition tool or directly from your portal or standalone server site.
Mapping and visualization. Map exploration. Pop-ups have updated default styling in HTML mode. You can limit the map zoom scales, and the Go-To-XY tool can add map graphics. Reports can reference layouts as supplemental pages, and bookmarks can be in folders. There are 3 new volumetric selection tools in 3D. You can now create ground elevation profile graphs in 3D and 2D. And you can also use deep learning models to interactively detect objects in the view as point features.
SDK. The Pro SDK now has new APIs for device location, parcel fabric, and voxel layers, with significant enhancements to the geodatabase, layout, and reports APIs. The new Voxel Layers API allows developers to create and manage voxel layer slices and sections. You can also manage ISO surfaces. The API also provides control over voxel layer lighting and rendering.
Labeling and annotation. In 2.7, the console function is now supported for debugging and exploring your data. In this example, using console to view the first value for the contour field, multiply the values by -1 to have a positive number for the contour placement. We've added the downhill alignment option to be used for bathymetric mapping where the top of the label will point uphill towards the shore. Overall positioning improvements have also been made. We've added the option to use key numbering as a placement option, where all features will be labeled with a key. This map shows key numbering being used to label street features which cannot fit their labels. When placing labels inside of features, they aren't always able to place within the boundaries. We can see the unplaced labels in red. Placing offset from the feature and using a leader line is a common workflow. One option is to have the leader line point to the closest point on the feature outline. At this release, we've added the option to inset the leader line, which is useful when labeling boundaries between polygons. Variable fonts are now supported in text symbols and font-based shape markers. In addition to their preset styles, variable fonts enable customization of their variations. An example is Bond Shrift. It has 2 axes that can be customized: weight and width.
Multiscale mapping. A new symbol effect for circular sectors is now available. Marker placements can now be applied per feature part or once per feature. A new Around Polygon option is also available. Dictionary symbology referencing web styles can be shared in a web map and drawn within ArcGIS Online. ArcGIS Pro now includes 8 styles of the well-known Pantone color books. You can use these colors for consistent appearance in your printing workflows.
Layouts. In a layout, you can use the new manual columns fitting strategy for legends, providing exact control over which items draw in each column. Grids and graticules can be converted to features in a map for precise editing. And layouts can now be exported to GeoTIFF files. You can choose which map frame is used to write the GeoTIFF coordinates.
Projection engine. You can now have the projection engine recommend a custom projected coordinate system for your map based on an extent that you choose and on a desired projection property. The Transformations dialog has been split into two tables. The top table automatically adds items based on map contents, like previous versions did. The bottom table stores transformations that are no longer in use or additional user-defined transformations. Analysis. Geoprocessing. There are 67 new geoprocessing tools in ArcGIS Pro 2.7. These include several new analysis tools that overlay multiple layers using a pairwise technique that leverages parallel processing. Of note are pairwise clip, pairwise erase, and pairwise integrate. Apportion polygons performs a polygon-to-polygon attribute transfer based on area overlap. There are also enhanced tools for KML conversion, including the reintroduction of map to KML. Over 100 tools have been enhanced with new options or parameters, including Calculate Field, which now supports a SQL calculation expression mode for enterprise geodatabase data. This takes calculations that previously took several minutes or hours and completes them in just seconds by running the calculation in the database. Geoprocessing history has been enhanced with the ability to mark tools as history favorites and the ability to filter tools by specific input layers. There are also new geoprocessing options to customize your experience when running geoprocessing tools, including the ability to toggle Enable Undo automatically for tools that support undo, always showing datasets in the geoprocessing parameters as full paths, and the ability to turn off logging geoprocessing options to the project's geoprocessing history.
Model Builder. You can now search for tools by simply typing the name of the tool within the model. You can search for model-only tools such as iterators, as well as logical and utility tools within this search window. Icons and toolbox names were also added to identify the type of tool and where the tool is coming from. The search now allows multiple selections and drag and drop into a model. Add to Display is Model Builder's way of adding outputs automatically to the contents when run from within a model. Now, after the model runs, it adds all outputs to a dedicated Model Builder group layer, and the names use the value of the variable name and actual value of the variable. There's also a new Iterate Layers tool that loops over different datasets, layers, or values and runs the same set of tools for each of these values. The tool accepts an input map and filters the layers based on layer types or the workspace type that they are stored in. The output from the tool can be evaluated against and branched to run the tool suited for that layer type.
Charts. A new chart type, the matrix heat chart, visualizes relationships between categorical variables and can even be used to compare time series data. Scatterplot matrices can now display Pearson's R to show the strength and direction of the relationship. We've also added moving average to temporal bar charts so that you can find the trend within the noise. And now you can duplicate a chart to easily make some adjustments without starting from scratch.
Voxel layers. Enhanced animation capabilities have been added to the voxel layer. You can now create keyframes to mark important transitions for slices, sections, isosurfaces, and the volume itself. You can animate slices to show a dynamic area of interest, an isosurface to juxtapose different threshold values, sections to create a fly-through effect, vertical exaggeration of the volume, and time itself to show how values change.
Raster and imagery. New change detection capabilities include the Land Trender modeling tool and the change detection wizard with a guided user experience. For multidimensional analysis, new statistical methods determine the presence of trends in your data, and you can merge and summarize a time series of rasters. You can now also attach analysis directly to CRF datasets for quick processing. Pro now supports new model types for object detection and pixel classification, along with new accuracy assessment reports, support for training multispectral imagery, and multi-label classification. When working with collections of framed camera or drone imagery, you can choose to pick only the stereo pairs that were collected along the same flight line and choose how they are oriented in the map, such as north-up. NITIF layers now support access to features contained within NITIF files.
Spatial statistics. The new Spatial Association Between Zones tool helps perform map comparisons by quantifying the association between zones on two maps, symbolizing the areas with the highest correspondence between zones and charting the makeup of each zone. The Neighborhood Summary Statistics tool calculates summary statistics of one or more numeric fields using local neighborhoods for each feature that can be geographically weighted using kernels to give more influence to neighbors closer to the feature. The Spatial Outlier Detection tool measures the local density of input points to identify them as spatial outliers or inliers. The tool also provides a prediction raster to classify new points without having to rerun the tool.
Space-time pattern mining. The time series forecasting tools now have the ability to detect outliers in each location's time series using the fit of the forecast model, which helps identify abnormal values for each location at each time step. The Visualize Space-Time Cube in 2D tool has been updated with a display theme that highlights the total count of time series outliers by location. The Visualize Space-Time Cube in 3D tool has also been updated to highlight the amount of outliers by time step.
Business Analyst. Business Analyst introduces the Generate Approximate Drive Times tool to estimate the travel distance of any trade area boundary. Expression support is added to several tools. This allows greater flexibility to build dynamic trade areas based on any field value in your data or just about any scenario you can think of. The Business Search now supports multiple data sources, including SafeGraph points of interest. And finally, new reports to summarize your results are available in both target marketing and territory design.
Network Analyst. We've added turn editing for network datasets in Pro 2.7. When creating a new turn feature, the ID fields will automatically be populated. In addition, the Create Features pane will show an error and prevent completion of a sketch for an invalid turn feature.
Spatial Analyst. The new Surface Parameters tool computes slope, aspect, and various curvatures by fitting different polynomial surfaces, and uses an adaptive analysis window based on a local landscape. The new Storage Capacity tool creates tables and charts to evaluate reservoir capacity. The Kernel Density tool supports geodesic method for barriers and creates better results with points over a large extent. We've also been improving performance for many tools, including the Locate Regions, Boundary Clean, and Distance tools.
3D Analyst. The Line of Sight Geoprocessing tool has been enhanced to support integrated meshes. You can now indicate which LiDAR points are selectable based on their class code. This lets you select points of interest without interference from other points. There is now a Smart Selection tool geared specifically to LiDAR power line point selection. And a new geoprocessing tool extracts power lines from classified LiDAR as 3D line features.
Geoanalytics. Geoanalytics is introducing a new data enrichment tool called Calculate Motion Statistics. This tool calculates groups of statistics for your movement data, including measurements like slope, acceleration, and more. In this example, the tool calculates speed statistics for AIS shipping data. Using the calculated statistics, we can classify shipping tracks according to their average speed. These classifications help isolate areas where vessels travel at speeds greater than 8 knots, a speed likely to disrupt ecosystems near coastal areas.
Data Engineering. The Transform Field tool transforms the values of a field, for example, to make the data closer to a normal distribution. The Standardize Field tool scales the values of a field, for example, to scale the values to have a mean of 0 and standard deviation of 1. The Reclassify Field tool classifies data values into classes using the same options as graduated color symbology, for example, natural breaks. The Encode Field tool recodes a categorical text field into a series of indicator variables for each category. The Dimension Reduction tool reduces a set of analysis variables to fewer dimensions that capture as much information of the original variables as possible. For example, 18 population age groups by U.S. county can be reduced to only 4 components that contain information from all 18.
Python. ArcGIS Pro now ships with Python 3.7.9, and it includes the linter flaggate and code formatter black to help discover errors and apply consistent code formatting. Additionally, ArcPy is now a conda package that can be installed separately into custom Python environments. And lastly, the new Generate Optimal Coordinate System method for ArcPy allows you to generate custom projected coordinate systems.
Data management. Editing. At Pro 2.7, arrange commands have been added to the Move tool. The Align tools arrange features vertically or horizontally to the left, right, top, or bottom. Features are aligned to the edge of the farthest features in the chosen direction in the map view. You can also set a reference point to align features to a specified location. The Distribute commands distribute features evenly in the chosen direction, horizontally or vertically. Array is a new editing tool that procedurally generates 2D and 3D features from a selected source. The tool is designed to increase workflow speed for those that need to duplicate many of the same features in a scene. Array can use all existing feature classes such as lines, points, and polygons, and multi-patches as its input source and can output to all 3 axes at the same time. Use the Construct Geodetic Editing tool to determine the shortest distance between 2 map locations using a geodetic line, such as an airplane's flight path. Geodetic circles and ellipses are also supported. For circles, click in the map to specify the center point, enter a radius, and create the feature. Turning on inference constraints from a map's lower status bar analyzes the segment of the active sketch or existing segment over which the pointer is hovering, and displays inferred geometric constraints. When snapping is turned on, the pointer can snap to them using the active snap agents. There are 2 new options for the Reshape tool. The Reshape with Single Intersection option is available for line features and allows you to sketch new geometry that only intersects the feature in one location. The Choose Result on Finish option is available for line and polygon features and allows you to choose which part of the feature you want to keep.
Geocoding. We have added the ability to configure tables for feature search in the Locate pane. Much as you would configure a layer for search, now you can search tables. You can also now search a single field in a layer on the fly without configuration on the Layer Search tab of the Locate pane. It is now also possible to add multiple locators when you are rematching a geocoded feature class. You can also modify the geocoding options to generate new candidates.
Parcel Fabric. You can find common tools for quality-driven workflows from the new Quality Ribbon tab. Here you can access the new Merge Parcel Point tool to fix data integrity issues by merging points or collapsing boundary lines. You can also use the new Merge Boundaries geoprocessing tool, allowing you to merge collinear lines within a given offset tolerance. The new Generate Parcel Links geoprocessing tool lets you create links and anchor points within a given time window and extent that can be used to keep related datasets in alignment with the parcel fabric. The Align Parcels tool provides a new graphical preview of the align, enhances curve-to-curve alignment, and now allows you to interactively delete unwanted links or anchor points. The ArcGIS Pro .NET Parcel Fabric SDK is also now fully supported with ArcGIS Pro 2.7.
Utility networks. Creating and upgrading a utility network will now use the ArcGIS Enterprise version for the portal's federated server to determine a compatible utility network version to create or upgrade. Trace configurations are also available with version 5 of the utility network. Trace configurations provide the ability to create and store complex traces which, when used in conjunction with ArcGIS Enterprise 10.9, can be shared through a web app and consumed in web apps and field apps. New subnetwork management options are available in the Set Subnetwork Definition tool. The subnetwork trace configuration includes options to set if containers, content and structures are included, and if objects are required to be locatable. The Update Subnetwork policy includes options to manage the isDirty attribute for network features and changes to how the supported subnetwork name attribute is updated. Domain network datasets now have an additional subnetwork name attribute to maintain the supporting subnetwork name for content features.
Trace networks. Trace networks are now supported in an enterprise geodatabase. The trace network and related datasets are now shared to an ArcGIS Enterprise 10.9 portal for consumption. A new result type parameter option called Network Layers provides the ability to create an output group layer that contains feature layers with a selection set of features returned by a trace. New trace configurations provide the ability to create and store complex traces, which when stored in conjunction with ArcGIS Enterprise 10.9, can be shared through a web map and consumed in web apps and field apps. With version 2 of the trace network, the flow direction network attribute is now exposed as an editable field for all line feature classes in the network.
Data Reviewer. New methods are available to automate the review of a feature's attribution, as well as identify redundancy and improve performance of your database. The table-to-table attribute check enables you to compare a feature's attribution to another data source. In this example, a new rule is configured to identify local road features that contain a name value which does not match those found in a master list of street names. Errors are created during evaluation when a feature fails to comply with a rule condition. Data corrections are enhanced by assisting editors in identifying and locating features which most negatively impact data quality.
CAD and BIM. This release of ArcGIS Pro expands 3D data support, including the 3D pipe network models coming from Autodesk Civil 3D. The BIM cloud connection can detect design changes in files it's using and update them in place. Content shared from these design files can retain their attribute information and links back to the original files in cloud storage to allow web-to-web access back to the original content.
Workflow Manager. We're happy to announce the release of our new service-driven architecture for ArcGIS Pro. It is a key piece of our mission to help organizations create seamless end-to-end workflows. As a user in ArcGIS Pro, you can find, filter, and run work, update a job's properties, define its location, add supporting documentation, guide the workflow, perform mapping work, launch web apps like ArcGIS Workforce, and more, like managing spatial versions, run geoprocessing, and even send emails. All driven by a series of standardized workflow steps built using our web app in ArcGIS Enterprise.
Production. ArcGIS Aviation Airports. At ArcGIS Pro 2.7, all of the obstruction identification surface tools for runways now support displaced thresholds. The new FAA 2C tool generates obstruction identification surfaces for heliports based on FAA Advisory Circular 150-5390-2C. A new refresh button on the Terrain and Obstacle Profile element tool allows you to update data sources while maintaining your modified properties.
ArcGIS Aviation Charting. You can now import digital obstacle files into your obstacle feature class. The new Report Aviation Chart Changes, Geoprocessing, and UI tools enable you to analyze data changes that can affect your charts. We also now offer geoprocessing tools that will generate airspace lines and process your ATS routes. With the new Aviation Preferences dialog, you can create custom preferences that handle how each of our new data management tools will behave.
ArcGIS Maritime. With the introduction of the S57 Relationship Manager at ArcGIS Maritime 2.7, you can now inspect and manage hierarchical and peer-to-peer relationships. The S57 Editing Group allows you to set your compilation scale, which will automatically attribute the scale of features as you compile new data sources. The S57 Set Scale band allows you to set filters on data by a scale range and product type. This facilitates visualizing what data in your central database will be present in different scale products. The Attributes pane allows you to view and edit S57 feature attributes in logically organized groupings.
ArcGIS Defense. The Generate Range Fans from Features tool is a new geoprocessing tool in the Defense Toolbox at 2.7. The Generate Range Fans from Features tool allows a user to input a feature class that has unique values for range fan creation and output multiple range fans, each with potentially different creation values. Another new tool in the Defense Toolbox is the Generate Range Rings from Features tool. This tool allows a user to input a feature class that has unique values for range ring creation and output multiple range rings, each with potentially different creation values.